Hey everybody, Shay here. It's been a long time since I've done a video for this channel, much less a book haul, and I'm looking at right now 6 columns of books that I've bought in the last 3 months while I was on hiatus with this channel. And I'm looking at about 6 columns of books to the long desk beside me, and it's about 60 books or so. A mix of hardcovers, paperbacks. I got some comics in there that I found. All of these are thrift books. I have to organize these books. I have to put them somewhere, but I got so used to recording a video of my thrift haul finds that I'm like, I can't just put them away. I gotta do a video. So I'm like, do I do a video of all 60 books? That's going to take over an hour to do. And here's the thing, I don't remember anything past this first column, which I'm going to get through in this video. I don't really remember what's past that at this point because it's all the spines are against each other, you know? So I think I'm going to try to do one column a video so I can keep this down to about 15 minutes so I don't waste any of your time. And also it's like I'm going to be re-exploring the thrift finds that I found. This is about 3 trips, maybe 4 trips worth of books here and there, like 5 here, 10 there, 15 here and there. Like I found a new thrift shop along the way from work to home, and so because a new one opened up, and so I went to check that one out and it was loaded. And so here's the thing, I don't remember which stack of books was with what thrift shop anymore. And a while ago I organized these stacks into things that made sense, like whether the same authors or same genre. The idea being that I was hitting other thrift shops and I no longer, like, I bought some doubles. That's what I'm saying. And so I had to organize my sheet along the way. Anyway, so it's a bit of a blur. So I'm going to be going through the first column in this return, I guess, to the channel. And I'm book hauling and sharing the experience of finding these thrift books along the way. In particular, this stack is going to be getting into some of the collections that I kind of started because either books were given to me or I found one book of a collection. And then I just, in the last year, even year and a half, I've been hunting down the full collection, whether it was a trilogy or whatever the case might be, right? Some of these are like 10 books long, some of them more. Like it's kind of crazy, but I love the adventure of it. And it's like a pastime for me. You know, I just kind of go into these stores, these thrift shops, and I go to the book section and I'll just burn away an hour easily. So if I have to wait for someone at the bar, thrift shop across the street, no problem. I'm gonna burn some time away. Or if I have to go out of town, no problem. On the way home, I'm gonna avoid traffic by finding the thrift shops in the area so I could just burn an hour there and defeat rush hour traffic or whatever the case might be. And so without further ado, let's jump into it. This is maybe the oddest kind of collection that I kind of stumbled on, and it was because I had 2 of these books where, and I'm just going to kind of give you some historics here just to contextualize some of the finds, right? But I was given these 2 books and they came from the library, right? So they got these library codes on them. They got that plastic wrapper on them still that I haven't removed. I don't really feel a need to right now. And of course, there's like the library brand like stuff on it, and there's like stamps on it and whatnot, but you know, they were free. And I was like, oh yeah, of course, I'll take it. Free books anytime, right? Because it's just like, I like exploring just books. And so this is Nora Roberts, and this is Of Blood and Bone. And this is The Becoming. Now, I was excited because I was like, oh, there's like maybe 2 books of a trilogy or something like that. No, it's like book 2 and book 2. So I was like, oh, damn. Okay, so they're part of a trilogy, and I got to hunt down book 1 and 3 of both of these trilogies. Now, I was very familiar with the name Nora Roberts because of my trips to the thrift shop, and I keep seeing her name in the romance section. So I was like, so not really something I would have naturally been driven to get, you know what I mean? But upon getting these books and hunting these books down, I would scan the romance section, and generally I mean I went, I think, a year without finding anything. But then I started seeing her name pop up in the fantasy section, where a couple months ago I found this one, year 1, which is book 1 of the Chronicles of the One, which is this one. So I was like, perfect. So now we have 2 books. I got the first one. If I wanted to start reading this trilogy, I could effectively start it with this year 1 book. And I mean, it's in perfect condition. It's a hardback. I would have already talked about this one, so I'm not going to spend too much time on it. But then it's like, it was another dry spell of maybe 6 or 8 months. And then I got lucky and I found 2 of them. Now, I don't know which 2 anymore. Oh, it's got the soft cover on it. But I found The Choice popped up in the fantasy section. I was like, I hope these are maybe closer to like a romantasy, but maybe, or like fantasy, but it's got like fantasy aspects to it. Or maybe it's because people saw the dragon sigil here and they just thought it was a fantasy book, and so they stuck it in the fantasy section instead of romance. I'm not sure. I don't know anything more about Nora Roberts other than she has a prolific collection of books in the romance section. So if anyone knows anything more about Nora Roberts and your thoughts on this series or her writing, or if I'm about to jump into a deep end of romance that I would never have purchased or read a romance book, but I'm not one to shy away from a challenge. And of course, this is book 3 of this collection here that I found. And then I also found, this is not the soft cover, so they got different feeling covers. In any case, we got Nora Roberts, The Awakening. This is book 1 of this trilogy. So bam, trilogy complete. Goes to show that if you're adamant enough, or a little bit crazy, or a little bit OCD, you will eventually find something if you just keep going to thrift shops all around the province. I mean, any trip I go, I look to see where the value villages are at, and I just check them out. So there you go. It's my first trilogy collection complete for Nora Roberts here for the Dragonheart Legacy, book 1, book 2, book 3. If anyone knows anything about the Dragonheart Legacy, let me know what you think. And of course, I haven't looked any deeper into this, like in terms of genre or summaries and whatnot, honestly, because there's no summary at the back. So I didn't really go hunting it down. I just knew I had to be completionist about this, and I needed to get all 3 books of a goddamn trilogy. And so without further ado, I will talk about this one that I found also in the last month, The Rise of Magix. This was book 3. This was the last book I needed to find of the Chronicles of One trilogy right here. And so bam, another trilogy complete after about a year and a half of hunting these down. I mean, all these books are in relatively perfect condition. As you can see, the pages are even white. They're crisp. I mean, the books are effectively brand new. They feel brand new. Anyways, there's 2 trilogies complete. I like the idea of just completing the collections of things. But of course, the bonus would be that I actually enjoyed these, and I will be reading all of these at some point or the other. I will have read my first romance series, or romance author in any case, possibly romantasy, possibly romance with just a little bit of fantasy. I'm not sure. Let me know in the comments below whether or not I'm going to regret this or not. I mean, at the end of the day, I can always give them back away or something like that, right? But it's the hunt. The hunt is complete, and I'm very proud that I found these ones. Moving on. Okay, next one is a couple months ago, I found this book right here at the thrift shop. It's George R. Martin's Fire and Blood, and of course, this is from the, I always say the Game of Thrones series, which is not correct. It's A Song of Fire and Ice, of course. This right here, I mean, I like that. There's like, you know, again, crisp, brand new, perfect condition book. I'm kind of after these hardbacks. I know there's some frilling along the sleeve, I guess, right? But for all intents and purposes, it looks like a relatively like new book. The pages, look at that, look how crisp and white those pages are. Anyways, I'm looking at the list here of all of the writings of this series though, and I'm seeing book 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 ends with A Dance of Dragons, and then there's The World of Ice and Fire, The Untold History of Westeros, and The Game of Thrones. Then there's Fire and Blood. So what? I'm not sure what this is and how it fits in. If it's not one of the 5 books, I thought I was after one of the 5 books. I'm not very familiar with the titles of the books. I have them on a spreadsheet at this point, or if I see the different colors, I look for the different color books. Anyways, I found this one, and then just recently in the last month or so, I found this one right here, A Dance with Dragons, and this is, it's got the map on the inside, and again, relatively good quality. I mean, there's some staining on the edges. They're not yellow stains, but like just stained. They're like, it's been around. But the sleeves are pretty good. But the sleeve is pretty good, right? There's barely any damage on the sleeve, and the pages are, I mean, even though there's a little bit of staining, they're relatively good. This is book 5, so I can't find book 1 to 4. I've been at thrift shops for about a year and a half now. I see them in paperback a lot of times. There's different versions, I guess, different print versions of these. I found the big paperback versions as well, but they've been in terrible condition. Like readers of the Game of Thrones series, they beat that crap out of their books. Holy crap. But anyways, these hardcovers, they're almost always in these kind of conditions. And here's the thing, now I always see this one. It's almost every second thrift shop or something I stumble on, I will always find A Dance with Dragons. So it's the last book, but the first 4, I'm not sure where they're at. But in any case, so far, here's my collection of the Game of Thrones, and I will only buy these copies just because I like the way they look on the shelf. They're very sturdy, and eventually I'll read the series. It's been a decade and a half since I've been told about these books. I've been recommended these books. I remember Netflix, I watched until season 6 or so. I know it kind of deviated. Where does Red Wedding? Don't spoil anyone in the comments below. But like, I got to the Red Wedding stuff because that's where everyone really started talking about the show. And then I just marathoned it until the end of the season of whatever Red Wedding was part of. Is that season 4, 5? I'm not sure. Anyway, so there you go. So far, that's my George R. Martin collection from the game. I keep saying the Game of Thrones series. Damn it. A Song of Fire and Ice. God, I'm not even sure if I said that right. I hate how I don't remember the name of A Song of Fire and Ice of this entire series. Oh boy. Okay, next one up. Let me jump to another series that I started finding and buying at the thrift halls because they were, I mean, I keep seeing Dean Koontz, very prolific writer on the horror shelves. I kind of have this like innate assumption that prolific writers aren't going to be for me because they're prolific, and I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. They're prolific because they probably sell to a mass audience that enjoy their work. Otherwise, why would they be prolific? I don't know. I keep seeing whole shelf runs of VC Andrew, and I've heard enough about VC Andrews that I was just like, why is this person like, why are there so many books for this author? It's like, because I looked into it once while I was at the thrift shop, because I was like, should I start buying VC Andrews? There's so many books. I was like, no. I read the Wikipedia page. I was like, no, I don't think I will. But Dean R Koontz, like this guy has come up a lot. And so this was a collection of 3 stories, Shattered, Whispers, and Watchers. And I figured, hey, 3 novels in one, and I'm buying it for like, $4.50, and I'm buying 4 books and getting the 5th free, and I'm getting 20 to 30% off on the deals. Like, I'm just like, of course I'm going to buy an anthology with 3 books in it. So I found this one, and then shortly after I found this one here at a different thrift shop, The House of Thunder, Shadow, Fires, and Midnight, another collection of Dean Koontz books, 3 novels in one. And it's odd because they're not the same printing press. One is from Putnam, and the other one is from Wings Books. The 2 plurals there really messed me up trying to say it out loud. But in any case, they're not part of a collection that was doing these. Are these omnibus? Are they called is this called an omnibus in the novel world? I'm thinking of omnibus from comics and stuff like that, right? Or manga or something like that. But these collections, right? I'm not sure. But then I found this one in the last month. It's Vikings Press version. So it would go with that set right there. But see, the spines aren't even designed the same. And the OCD person in me, it looks at this and goes, but why? Why is the same printing press? Why wouldn't you like print these like to look like they're part of the same collection? You know what I mean? Anyways, I found a Dean R Koontz here that includes The Servants of Twilight, Darkfall, and Phantoms. So that's my Dean Koontz collection so far. I'm not sure if anyone's read Dean Koontz. If you have any opinions on Dean Koontz, as a horror author, should I be worried about the prolificness of him? This is something, this is an author I have not looked up on Wikipedia yet to see like opinions and stuff like that, or people's reviews. I mean, he's prolific enough that the reviews are going to be, there's going to be a lot of them, and so they're going to skew towards the people who like, it's just volume. The volume of people who like Dean Koontz are going to say Dean Koontz is awesome, but I don't know what as like a casual reader of just a variety of different genres and authors and stuff like that. Again, I'm not going to shy away from trying someone new. Strangely enough, I haven't read as much Stephen King as possibly I should have, but it was kind of my teenage years, and that was 25 years ago at this point. So I'm sort of in exploratory mode again. So anyways, if you have any thoughts on Dean Koontz, leave them down below. And whether or not you've read any of these 9 novels right here and your opinions, of course, don't spoil me along the way. I'm going to get through at least one of these for sure, and I'll be back and give you my thoughts on my first delve into a Dean R Koontz novel trilogy at this point. And it's not trilogy. They're not trilogies. They're just like a collection of books. I'm not sure if these are even connected in the same world. I don't know anything else about Dean R Koontz except prolific. And now if I find these collections with 3 novels each, I'm just going to pick them up because it's going to make me get through the Dean Koontz library faster. And that's the only way I'll buy Dean Koontz at this point, because I'm not sure how many books he's printed, but I've seen way too many for me to go, yeah, let's try Dean Koontz next after Ian Rankin. No, we're not going to do that right now. Not anytime soon. All right, let's move on to the next hardbacks. I keep seeing this one pop up. It's called By Gaslight. It's by Stephen Price. I looked this up real quick. I tend to just check my phone real quick for reviews and just to get like a pulse rating on the star rating. Like if it's over 4 stars or you're close to 4 stars, like I'd be willing to pick it up if it looks good. And this book, it just looks good. I like this era of storytelling, like the gothic horror is my vibe, and anything tied to that kind of vibe, Victorian kind of fiction, I'm a big fan of. And so I kept seeing this. I'm like, is this a historic fiction? Is this fantasy? I'm not sure. This is sometimes in the spy area. Does that sound right? Maybe it's just like the general fiction area. I'm not sure where I've spotted this book, but it's almost in every thrift shop. Was it overprinted? Anyways, it's called By Gaslight. This book is one of the best conditioned books I found, and I was in a scenario where I had maybe 4 books and I needed a 5th one, or I had 9 books and I needed a 10th book because I was going to get it free anyways, and this was one that lands in the cart because I always have I have maybe half a dozen books that I see often, but I won't pick up because I'm like, one day I'm going to need that extra book in order to get it for free, right? And so I just hold off. And if it's there, I get it, or I get something else, or I get an anthology that I find there. It's usually like this random book along the way. But this was the one I picked up because the ratings weren't that bad. And the summary there in the back does mention Victorian London. And so I just assumed it was going to be something akin to like a Jack the Ripper or Sherlock Holmesy in some way, like some detective fiction or something like that. And it says, the sweeping tale of the unforgettable William Pinkerton and Adam Fole thrusts the readers into smoky Victorian London with all its grit and glitter. I hadn't read this far, but it says uniting the literary grace and depths of William Faulkner and Cormac McCarthy with the intrigue and momentum of Sherlock Holmes' story by Gaslight is completely absorbing, an epic, brilliantly written novel to to rank with the world's best. I mean, when you're throwing names like Faulkner and McCarthy, that's crazy. I read my first McCarthy because of this channel and because of my thrift, because of BookTube. Just people keep talking about McCarthy. And so I dove into that. And then recently I bought a William Faulkner collection as well, which I have to read. I've never read Faulkner. But those are two names that I know enough from BookTube to think I have a baseline of what to expect from the writing style of this book. Is anyone familiar with Stephen Price? And have you read this book, and what are your thoughts? And is this part of a series or world or a collection? I'm not sure. I don't remember if I added Stephen Price as an author to my spreadsheet in order to track down more Stephen Price, because I haven't read any Stephen Price, so I'm not going to hunt down more books. Unless this is part of a series, I generally open up the front cover and I see if it has a list of books that it's connected to, and I do not see any lists here. So there you go. But I like the cover. I like the cover, and it was always there, and it was calling out to me, and it finally got purchased. So there's another hardback that I could put to the side. This is an odd one because it's another book that I keep seeing. I keep seeing. And it's like a really nice trade dress on it. It's called Troubled Blood by Robert Galbraith. And I'm like, well, if it's part of a series, how come I never see any other books in the series? And what I did is, like, again, because I opened the cover and it says also by Robert Galbraith. It says The Cuckoo's Calling, The Silkworm, Career of Evil, and Lethal White is part of the series. So is this book 6? I'm not sure. I got the sense that it was detective fiction, so I figured I'd give it a shot. And in my lookup on Wikipedia to see more of Robert Galbraith's books, so I could put them into my spreadsheet and track down the other books in the series. Again, at least there's at least 6 of them. I think there might be more, actually. I don't remember the list I collected. Anyways, I found out that Galbraith is J.K. Rowling. It's a pseudonym for J.K. Rowling. And that sort of shocked me. I don't know what to expect from this story, especially say if you have like Harry Potter in your mind. I've read like the first 3 books of Harry Potter. I've been collecting those along the way as well. The old school collection versions, like Trade Dress, because those are like the nostalgia version of it. And it's the ones I kind of read 15 years ago and 20 years ago. Jesus, time flies. In any case, I still have to finish the series. I've watched the movies, of course. I know how the story goes, but there's a writing style there and I don't see how it flows into like detective fiction or whatever this might be. That's what I felt like I read. Where? I don't know. Probably the Wikipedia page when I was looking stuff up. It says Private Detective Cormoran Strike is visiting his family in Cornwall when he is approached by a woman asking for help finding her mother, Margaret Bamborough, who went missing under mysterious circumstances in 1974. Like, I've been reading Ian Rankin. I've been collecting Ian Rankin books from the thrift shops for the last year and a half. And there's a sensibility in my mind now when I think of detective fiction, I think of Ian Rankin, you know? So it's just going to feel like one of those kinds of books, right? I mean, this is a hefty book. It cracks past the 900 page mark. I'm not sure if these are standalones and they can be read alone. I'm willing to give one a shot if it's a standalone. Because if this is a 6th book in the collection, man, I can't find the last 5, and I'm not sure I'm willing to buy them new. So it's just going to be one of those that sits on my shelf. And I mean, I like the spine though. I like the trade dress so much on this. I read a lot of pulp comics, and it felt like a pulpy kind of feeling about it. I really like the pulp horror and pulp detective and pulp stuff, like pulp war. Like, I love pulp comics, so I like this grunge appeal on the design. I feel like that's what it was going for, and it was really kind of trying to communicate that was the grime. The grime was going to be there. Anyways, I'm curious about it. Has anyone read Robert Galbraith's books? Let me know what you think. I'll give it a shot at some point, as long as it's standalone, like I said. And the last book I want to talk about, because it's the last one on this stack, is another Michael Crichton book. I've been collecting Michael Crichton books from the thrift shops as well. I got about 4 of them. They're across the ways in the dark at this point, so I can't see them. I got Prey, The Lost World next, and whatever that pirate one is. And they're all different formats now, and it's bothering me because I've been finding them in the same formats in time. Like, these books keep popping up, and I wish I would have just been more patient with Michael Crichton purchases, and I would have been more familiar with the printing presses that were doing his collections, so that I could try to get the same trade dress along the way. The ones that have, like, they're mostly like the white hardcovers is the ones I should have been chasing down. In any case, I got this Michael Crichton collection here. It's 3 complete novels. We got the Andromeda Strain, we got the Terminal Man, and we got the Great Train Robbery. And in terms of condition, it's actually relatively good. There's like this weird spacing stuff happening here, and I'm wondering if that's, oh, that's not even like, is that physical? No, oh, hey, I found something in here, everybody. Oh my god, I found money. Oh my god, I found like oh my god, I found more money. Okay, hold on. This is the last book on the stack, and it's actually going to be an exciting one. So I mean, money, but you'll see what I mean. Anyways, so that's funny. I was like, hey, it looks like there's like the pages are warped or something like that, and that might be the break of where the novels start. And I'm like, did they put ribbons in this or something like that? Check this out. Anyways, let me finish talking about the quality. I'm kind of completely disoriented. Anyways, I don't know if this is like the quality of the book, like they printed it so that the pages look like they're aging on the edges there, or if that's actually sun damage. It's probably sun damage, but it does feel like it's by design, because look, you flip the page, like just random page there, and maybe you can't really see on the camera, but it really looks like it's like the trim, the edges of these pages have this kind of coffee stain-esque appearance. I don't know. Anyways, okay, let's get to the what I discovered. So I opened it up, right? Okay, so the first break here, and then I found this right here. It's on chapter 7. It's like random. This is crazy. So I see this, I'm like, oh my god, is there like a winning lottery ticket here? And I just like a Willy Wonka kind of scenario that I just pulled. Like, what the hell's going on here? And I turned around, I was like, it's a $1 bill. They don't print these anymore. And it's like it's pretty good condition. And like when I was a kid, I used to collect money, just coins and dollar bills. And I mean, I have one of these for sure, but this one is in a pretty crisp condition. And holy crap, we haven't had these for, oh my god, 30 years. Does that sound right? I remember these like maybe in the early 90s. They got rid of these. They turned them into loonies, $1 coins. Anyways, and then I keep flipping, and I found another one just shoved in here on chapter 13. Look at that. They don't print these anymore either. We call them the toonie over here, the $2 coins. It's not as crisp, but it's okay. And they have like, they used to print them with these like animals on the back. Anyways, this is the old school one though. Damn. Look at that. So, little gift here. I don't know, when they give the book away, they're like, we're just going to give some very old money that is no longer in print in Canada. I don't know. Look, well, now I got like 2 extra little gifts here with my thrift haul. That was fun. That's fun. I should open up the books more often when I'm doing these, because I have found like cool little things pop up in them sometimes, where like notes or, oh my god, that actually felt like pages were, oh my god, are pages ripped out? That was so weird. So look, I mean, this has got some pretty hefty damage here. That spine fold here definitely cracked the binding. Thank God that wasn't pages getting ripped out. It goes from 532 to 533. So, hey, all good. Yeah, I should flip through more of these. I probably have other books that just have random things in them. But this is possibly some of the most random I guess I would have found so far. That's the 130 minutes. I tried to keep this as short as possible for all of you. I mean, maybe I'll trim this down to some degree, and it'll be reasonable. I'm still looking at a whole column of books here, so I'll be back and do some more of these book vlogs along the way and some discovery. And again, I went and hunted down some of the old books in the collection over the last year and a half of my book hauling, especially in the thrift shops, so that I could contextualize some of these collections, because I've actually completed the 2 Nora Roberts trilogies, and it just showcases my chase down of Dean Koontz and Michael Crichton and stuff like that. So, and that's it. Thanks for showing up. Thanks for checking out this vlog, and I'll catch you in the next one. Don't forget to explore, engage, and inspire, buddy. Peace.